Time now for Media Watch on what is an historic day for Algeria, marking 50 years of independence. Nick Rushworth has been gauging reaction.
Well, it's a relationship between France and Algeria over these 50 years, as you said, of je t'aime, moi non plus, I love you, me neither. So I want to go to Liberté, which is a paper in Algeria. And here you can see the headline. Well, you actually can't see it. I'll zoom it in. And it's just showing there just statistics. You can just see those. That paper saying 3.5 million Algerians killed in 132 years of colonization. And for a subheading, 1.5 million dead in the Barrou Finale, in the final Grand Slam, which is the 8 years of the Franco-Algerian War. So it's something that we've not covered perhaps so much, but it's a big scar on French history.
It has left, certainly, as you say, scars, and many of these are more like open wounds, because there is a lot of ill feeling from people of Algerian descent who you meet here in France when they talk about these issues. They do have this general feeling of resentment towards France and the way it carried out its what it saw as its duty during that period.
Well, this kind of love-hate relationship, this tension, is actually brilliantly being conveyed by the Le Monde journalist Plantu. We can just go to that cartoon here. And he's tied up with a well-known cartoonist in Algeria called Dilemme. And there you can see Réconciliation. And if we can just see, they're actually the two blokes there with the French flag and the Algerian flag, both on each side of the Mediterranean, and one bloke is saying, it's for you to take the first step. That's the Algerian guy. Come on, you take the first step. And the French guy with his beret, you can't quite see it there, but is sort of wondering what to do. It's a sort of quizzical thing. Now, of course, my reaction to that was, hey, if one of them does do it, all they're going to do is walk into the Mediterranean Ocean and sink or swim. So what about this other cartoon? Again, by Dilemme, reflecting ties between France and Algeria, and there we can see a flotilla of boats, not a march of celebration in Algiers, which we're seeing in our TV news pictures, but here in the cartoon, a march of rowboats heading towards Marseille and the rest of France. And the explanation there at the top is there will be a march for Independence Day, the 50th anniversary, and that's towards France. So sort of a slight irony there about the relationship between the two countries.
So people still seeking to come to France from Algeria for better choices, for better chances, for chances of work, because clearly in Algeria the unemployment rate is massive, isn't it? There are big problems there.
Huge problems with education, housing, and so on. Now, all the papers are reporting on this. One of them is Le Monde, and it's got into a bit of trouble, actually, because there's a debate about whether it was wise or not. This is Le Monde earlier this week. It had a 16-page supplement talking about, life in Algeria 50 years on. And, of course, it comes across as a promo piece for Abdelaziz Bouteflika. He's talking about all his achievements. So the Le Monde journalists, it turns out, have actually said, we've got nothing to do with this. It's advertorial. So, of course, there is a mention that this is advertorial way at the bottom.
But if you look at it, pass it to me, I'll have a look at it. This looks like, it just looks like it's part of Le Monde, doesn't it? So the whole spacing of it, the way it's pasted out. As you say, there's a mention where?
Way at the bottom. Can you see the journalists are not involved? There's absolutely, for us, there would be like advertorial right at the top, strap. Can you find it?
No, okay, I can't find it at all. Can't find it. I'm looking, I can't see it. So I would pick this up and think that it was actually part of Le Monde. There you go. But Bouteflika, of course, is a controversial character, very much part of that group of leaders, long-standing leaders in African countries that have been toppling the Gaddafis, the Ben Alis, the Mubaraks, people like that.
Slate.fr is having a look at this, and it has a story, Algérie, comment Abdelaziz Bouteflika s'est payé le monde. There you can see that article there. How Bouteflika, the president of Algeria, bought Le Monde. How much do you think that would have been in those 16 pages, Mark?
Yeah, I couldn't begin to imagine how much. And I couldn't.
€1.5 million. €1.5 million euros. And of course, the debate in the Algerian press is the taxpayers of Algeria are paying for that. And of course, the irony is, why would Bouteflika go to a French daily newspaper to celebrate the independence from France?
A question it would be very useful to put to the man himself, Nick. Maybe one day, eh? Maybe one day. Nick Rushworth, thank you very much indeed. Nick Rushworth with Media Watch. Stay with us. Short break. After that, we're back with more news and with the sport and with the culture. You're watching Live in Paris. I'm Francois Van Calen.